Hey folks, Green Stuff Gav here. We're back with the this month's edition of Combat Patrol. For anyone who's not seen, Hatchet Partworks is a magazine company that does generally monthly magazines where you can build models or, you know, your own TARDIS, that sort of thing. Now, they've done collaborations with Games Workshop before. So they did Imperium, which was a whole load of 40k miniatures, and they did Legends, which was a whole load of book series. They've got a couple of fantasy editions, and this is magazines where once a week you can learn the 40k Combat Patrol rules, and has a whole load of miniatures to go with. So these come out quite randomly, so I'm not entirely sure where your local news agent will be with the editions, but we tend to be about 2 weeks in, I seem to recall. So, looking at what we've got here, we've got issues, special one, 47, 48, 49 and 50. So we'll open them up, we'll have a look and see what we've got. Now, where this goes by the various factions, we're currently doing the Orcs, as we had the War Boss and some boys last time. And issue 47 looks to be 2 Deffkoptas. Now, yep, that looks like 2 Deffkoptas brews to me. Two different ones. I remember when these came out in 7th, I believe it was, maybe 6th. Lovely plastic kit. These have been scaled up somewhat, keeping up with current 40k. There's no opportunity for bits, though. Very fitting with Games Workshop's design philosophy these days. There's no real options or anything like that. Like even the head, there's only a single head. There's plenty of room on the sprue for multiple bits, but Games Workshop don't like that no more, by all accounts. Same with this guy. And we can see they've got an upright which glues to this, which glues to the bases to raise them off the ground. But better than the old clear plastic. It does mean they've all got scrap underneath. Lovely detailing though. Lovely crisp production. Lovely details, but not very customizable. Issue 47, 1 of 2, 3 Deffkoptas. So these are a tenner a piece. I'm sure 3 Deffkoptas are more than 20 quid. How to build them, which is nice. So Combat Patrol goes through all of the assembly and teaches you things like cleaning up flash, things like that, which is nice. They've got painting updates, so we've been learning how to do edge highlighting. What's quite nice about this is because the models in the gallery pages are following the step-by-steps, so they're actually achievable paint jobs. You know, I love seeing gorgeously painted models, but no, I ain't ever going to be that good. So we can see where we're getting to with the Orcs. Got some backgrounds. So again, I love these. These are little background stories for the unit. So you roll D6. You can give. There's a name chart a while back, and this is like a background history to the unit. Again, giving them a bit more, making them a bit more unique rather than, you know, giving some background and stories. Such a smaller rule set Combat Patrol that it's nice to yeah, make them individual. So it's Combat Patrol. I don't know how well this stacks with the probably a 10th edition 40k, but yeah, nice. about flying. So this got referred to the rulebook, which we get partially in this. Small rules for Chaos Marines, objectives, and stratagems. So we got the rest of the Deffkopters. So again, 2 issues for a box of Deffkopters. It's got to be good. And the Dread comes in 2 as well, which isn't a surprise. So 48. We got the final Deffkopter and their bases. So again, no real options, only one way to build it. But of interest, I haven't seen these before. So where we send the bases, they clip in there. 2018. It's quite an old style base. I've not seen them with this slot before, so it's a new one on me. It's quite interesting. I like this Gert Big Bomb. That's cool. Yeah, cool. Issue 48 gives us painting Deffkopters. Obviously, the assembly was in the previous issue. And this is all paints that we've received in the magazine. Although, of note, we haven't received many brushes. So I think the brushes would be struggling by now. But and again, like, these are really nice, but really achievable paint jobs. So I'm glad to see them, to be honest. Did you find I painted all the cables? Story time for Orks. Info about melee weapons. And actual story time. Scenario. So 10 boys, 3 Deffkopters against Dark Apostle and 10 Chaos Marines. Seems a bit in the Orcs' favour, but again, this teaches you how to do different gaming things. So it shows us about how flying works and deep strike and things like that. End results. And then options for mixing in different guys, which is good. Next 2 is a Dreadnought. 49.50. I do like the Deff Dread model. It is a chunky and girt bit of kit. It's got quite a few options and arms. You've got all the weapons options. So you've got left and right blaster guns, rocket launchers, engine bays. The claws are really nice. This one's got buzzsaws. I think we get some more options. But again, things like the front carapace options. You can tell it's an older kit. Talk to which, 49. How to build our Deff Dread. Now this all requires having the next issue as well, but we can see pick either all the blue parts or all the green parts. It gives you all the weapons options, which I like. I don't know what Combat Patrol says you have to have, but Anatomy of an Orc. Again, this is all background story stuff, which is nice to be able to read. About armor. And the Deff Dread. So again, Orc naming table. And then you've got some background story for that Dread. Which is really cool. Now, we can see these are slightly stuck together. The idea being that you pull these apart and put them in the ring binders. But I don't, because I don't. Combat Patrol. So, Doesn't tell us what the weapons it's armed with. +1 for each additional claw. So it starts with 4. So he comes with 2 claws and 2 guns, and so 2 rocket launchers, presumably. Each additional claw, so maybe 3 claws and a rocket. Yeah. I do miss that it doesn't tell us what things are armed with. Ork faction ability, cooler, wow, and how faction abilities apply. So again, this is learning the basics of 40k 10th edition. How things like a charging works, combat rules, objectives, and a scenario. And you can keep track of who's fought in this mission, which is nice. Rest of the dread, and then paints. Now, the last of the standard issues we've got is this one, which is the rest of the Ork Dreads. With his base, no one cares, and the rest of the weapons options. So we've got a second rocket launcher. Another big claw. Huge teeth to go on the front. Icons, armor plates. Again, really nice, some nice options. You can buy a couple of these and arm them differently. I like that buzzsaw, that's really nice. So this issue, yeah, we see he's got 3 choppy arms and a rocket. You could theoretically arm him differently. I don't know what the current Ork Codex tells us about this, but that's quite nice. All the red cables. But yeah, so again, this very, very achievable and looks good. Will look good on the table. All about orcs. Orcs are the only species known to use teeth as currency. Bigger teeth are worth more, but even the puniest orc can never be truly broke, as they always resort to getting a punch in the face to free up a bit of change. What was written in Gorka Morka is orc teeth also naturally break down. So, yeah, the currency is currently flowing. No one will ever stash a load of teeth. And that's why bad moons are so rich, because their teeth grow really fast. There you go. Strange but true. Orc colours. Sneaky Burt is purple. Green is best. Red is faster. Yellow is for shiny, shiny rich people. And blue is super lucky. So we've got Goths. Gazgo Thraka. And then more story time. And here's the... so this tells us what people are armed with in the combat patrol. So Deff Dread has got 3 claws and a rocket launcher. 2 Deffkoptas with rockets. Well, there's no options there. So 2 blocks of 10 boys and a war boss. So that is the entirety of the Ork combat patrol we've got so far. Now they do tend to throw an extra mission, an extra unit or 2 in. So we go on to Voltan next. And the extra issue we had for the Chaos Marines is Haarken Worldclaimer, who's a named character from 9th, I want to say. Maybe 10th. Who's this Chaos Lord with a bent sprue, jump pack, and a girt big spear. Which also looks slightly bent. Your Space Marine on the base. Nice little details on it though. Got alternate heads. I know that isn't. He's got this head and there's one for the corpse. Corpse's shoulder pad. Yeah, nice detail. It's really a shame about the sprue. Like, look at that. Haarken Worldclaimer. How to build him. How to paint him. Put it in the Space Marine. Ultramarine Dead on the base. Fine shade. Haarken Worldclaimer. Oh. So his data sheet. You can use him instead of your Dark Apostle if your opponent agrees. Just take a single dude with jump pack. You'll get shot to the end of the world. 4-up invulnerable save, that was nice. Again, how to, using the background supplied here, how to take photos. How to take some nice photos for combat patrol. Again, something simple they didn't need to do, or didn't have to do, but did. And that's really good for like hobbyists, especially people that are new. No, I like that. I really appreciate things like this. It makes a difference. Well, all in all, again, some worthwhile issues, because if you're talking 20 quid for two, for a box of Deffkoptas and 20 quid for a Dreadnought, so anything like the Eldar one, which are 40 quid a pop, that's some good value. Not massively sold on Haarken. I think I paid a tenner for him as well. Doesn't say. Yeah, £10 for him, and it's a busted sprue. So might be sending them an email, see if what they can offer. But like I say, you might need to ask your local news agent or supermarket if they've got any copies, because as you can imagine, there's plenty of scalpers out there buying them all up, so they tend to hide them away. But as always, thanks for watching and have fun.